Hey guys, it's Olivia here from Olivia's Catastrophe, and today I'm here to give you my October wrap up. I read 7 books in the month of October, so let's get right down to the books. So the first book that I read this month was Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. I finally read this one and I just sat down one night and read it all in one go. It was so cute. I really liked it because it was cute. It was adorable. It's about this guy who is gay and he's not out, and he has emails with this other gay person in school who is also not out, and he doesn't exactly know who this person is. But when somebody else snoops up on a computer after he's been on there and starts blackmailing him with his secret of being gay, he gets outed even though he doesn't want to be out yet, and he's looking for who his email buddy may be. It's just a bunch of cuteness, you guys, and it was, for me, it was predictable. I predicted who the person was that he was looking for. I don't even know how I did it, but I was just like, it's that guy, and it was that guy. But it was still so adorable. I immediately watched the book to film adaptation afterwards, which was also just more adorableness. Me and Becky Albertalli's writing style don't get along, so I gave it 4 stars just because her writing style is not for me personally, but it's a really cute book, you guys. Then I decided to read some Adam Silvera books, and I read They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. It's in the title, they do both die at the end. So this one is about this world where this thing called Deathcast is in existence, and they phone you up on the morning of the day you're going to die, and they don't tell you how and they don't tell you when, but they say you are going to die today. And it's about these 2 boys who both get the Deathcast call on the same day. It takes place in the day when they are together, and yes, basically it's just about these 2 people who have one last day to live before they die. And everybody cries when they read this book, but I am the master at not crying while reading, and I actually survived without crying. I did like this one. I thought it was really cute and sweet, and it spoke some volumes about really true things about death, about friendships, about living while you can, and it was just a really big joy to read. Like, it didn't strike me very deeply, but if you want not a light-hearted contemporary, but a very nice contemporary, this is a good one to go to. I read some more Adam Silvera. I then moved on to More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera, and this one was recommended to me by Lola Reviewer, and I'll leave a link to her channel down below. And as I just said, I'm the master at not crying when I read, but I sincerely doubted that I could make it through this book without tears. It was fantastic. I don't really think you should know too much about this book going in. It just follows this main character who's called Aaron, and Aaron's father committed suicide, and he has also attempted suicide, and he's just trying to be happy and find happiness, and he thinks he's found it with his girlfriend Genevieve and his friends that live on his block. However, when Thomas comes to his neighbourhood, it kind of messes it all up for him, and things start to get quite confusing. There's also another side to this book because there's this thing called Latio, which is this procedure that helps erase your memories if you want your memories erased, and everything just ties in together, and this book was so painful and emotional and moving, and I literally just like laid on my bed reading this, like, why? I couldn't stop reading. I was addicted. There's no good characters in this one. There's no bad characters, arguably. It's really showing the grey between good and bad, between whether memories and pain are worth keeping, about friendship, about family, about suffering, and especially about happiness. This is Adam Silvera's debut novel, and it was so emotionally heart-wrenching. I managed to make it without crying, but I sincerely doubt that you can. If you want to take me up on that challenge, go for it. I rated this one 5 stars, and it was my favourite read of last month. Then I had a buddy read with Richard Reads on Instagram, and I'll leave a link to her bookstagram down below, and we buddy read Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. I absolutely love Trevor Noah. I think he is hilarious, but he also speaks truth under all that comedy, and I really wanted to read his book that he's written, and I knew that this one was going to really focus on his mother. It's literally just his life story about being born mixed during the apartheid time in South Africa, and he was literally born a crime because mixed kids were not allowed to be born, basically, because whites were supposed to stick with whites and blacks were supposed to stick with blacks, but evidently that did not happen for his parents. It was A lot. Like, you really learn a lot about apartheid, and you especially are learning it from a first-hand experience about what he experienced, and I can't, you know, dispute that. And I think he does a very good job of explaining how it is like to grow up. It was quite surprising to see what he did when he grew up. I was like, wow, I did not expect that from him. He's got quite a few stories to tell. You can tell how much he admires and loves his mother in this book, and I just was so there for the way that he is such a feminist. He really supports women so much, and I'm just so here for it. And of course it's funny, and I knew what was going to happen in the final chapter, because if you watch a lot of his comedy, you know that he's got this very miraculous story to tell about his mother. And I knew it was going to come in the final chapter, but it was still just as wonderful to read. And if you read this for nothing else, read it for the final chapter. It's not the best writing. He is a celebrity, not necessarily an author, and sometimes the writing just went off on a couple of tangents, and it could have been overall structured better with the timeline and with some storytelling. And then some stories, like the morals that he drew from the stories, felt like a bit of a jump to me, but those are just technical things, and for the message that it's actually giving, I did enjoy this book. So in an effort to be spooky this month, I decided to read Pride and Prejudice and Zombies by Jane Austen and Seth Graham Smith. What a last name. You guys, I did not like this book. Really, really didn't like it. And you know what? The clue was in the author's name, by Jane Austen and Seth. I just didn't get that, because what this basically is the original classic of Pride and Prejudice with some scenes cut and then some scenes inserted of zombie fights, but the zombie fights don't actually impact or change the storyline. It's still the Pride and Prejudice storyline. They've just randomly inserted some zombie scenes in, which aren't actually that amazing or that very well written. And because I didn't like the original classic Pride and Prejudice, I thought, oh, this is going to be a retelling, so there's going to be something new to it that's going to make me enjoy it a bit more. No, this was absolutely awful. It was lazy. It just felt like such a lazy thing to do, to copy-paste, practically copy-paste Pride and Prejudice and then insert zombie fights. I'm just not here for it. I just didn't enjoy this book. I can't tell you anything good about it, and I feel bad about that, but that's just how it is. Then I read a review copy, which is The Versions of Us by Laura Barnett. This one was sent to me for review, and it's basically about alternate timelines. So there's this couple, and there's this moment when the couple meets, and you get that moment in 3 different versions. And in one of these versions, the couple actually stop and talk to each other and go on a date. In one version, they stop and talk to each other and then go their separate ways. And in one version, they don't even stop to talk to each other. And it's basically, you follow these 3 different versions along the book, and you follow basically their life story. It's a very character-driven book. Their life story about whether they stay in love, fall out of love, what other men or women come into their lives, and it's basically just following their life. That's it. So it was okay read for me. I thought it was very interesting to see how these lives kind of had the same center points, but then also lots of different things happened depending on which version you were in. I felt very intrigued by the characters, but I felt like there was no proper plot other than just seeing how these different lives compared and contrasted. And it also got a bit repetitious, because there were certain things that happened that had to happen, like the mother will always die at the time that the mother dies, or this person will always get married at the time this person gets married, but you see it through all different 3 versions, and then at some point it became a bit repetitious. So it had some good things, it had some bad things. I don't know if I'd recommend it or not. But that was this book. And then the last book that I read in the month, that I finished literally on October 31st, was The Moonstone by Wilkie Collins. This is my read for uni for this month, and it's a Victorian mystery thriller kind of novel. In this one, these English people are in India and they steal this moonstone, which is really important to Indian culture and is an invaluable diamond. And they bring it back to England, and then once they get it to England, it's stolen and they don't know who has taken it. And this mystery is basically just trying to find out who took the stone and where is the stone. And it was so good. I love Wilkie Collins' writing style. It's a classic, but it's just such good writing. The mystery was unpredictable. I didn't know where it was going to go or what the outcome was going to be. I loved following along with the characters. There was one character I didn't like, but other than that, I really love the characters, especially Mr. Franklin and Mr. Betteridge. And he also switches point of view to what is most relevant to the narrative. So that means that, you know how sometimes classics go off on tangents and you get parts of the story that are just totally irrelevant? You don't really get that here. You wouldn't think it because it's a big novel, a big tome at like 600 pages, but it sticks to the point and it was just so good. I was intrigued from beginning to end, and I rated this one 5 stars, my other 5-star read of this month. So there you have it. Those are the 7 books that I read in the month of October. Please let me know in the comment section down below what was your favourite or least favourite read of October, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to be updated every time I have a new video. See you guys in the next one. Goodbye.